with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Molly Samora. As we head into a warm April day with lots of people expected to try and get outside, we're expecting to get new guidance from the CDC today when it comes to wearing masks outdoors. We're learning President Joe Biden's administration is set to relax the guidance of wearing masks outdoors. It's expected to offer separate recommendations for fully vaccinated people and for those who haven't had their shot. The latest research reportedly shows that very few COVID-19 infections happen in outdoor settings. The U.S. is planning to share its stockpile of COVID vaccines to help other countries. America has tens of millions of doses stockpiled, but none have been used. That's because the AstraZeneca's vaccine hasn't been given emergency use authorization by the FDA yet. Biden administration officials now feel confident the U.S. has enough doses for its population. So instead, the company will distribute doses to other countries pending a safety review. It comes as other nations struggle to ramp up vaccinations. One of those countries is India, which is grappling with one of the worst COVID surges in the world. The latest information now on the push to make sure a COVID-19 related shutdown at Erie High School doesn't last longer than a week. The closure also serving as a reminder that while getting vaccinated helps, it doesn't completely eliminate the chances of getting the virus. Erie School Superintendent Brian Polito ordered Erie High students to go back to remote learning through at least the end of this week, after 8 students and 1 staff member tested positive for COVID-19. District officials say the staff member who tested positive had been fully vaccinated. It comes after Erie High students spent a year learning from home. They just went back into in-person learning 3 weeks ago. With nearly half of families still opting to keep their kids home, the shutdown also affects sports and other extracurricular activities. The plan comes from Erie High students back to school on next Monday morning. There are a lot of questions about this morning which Pennsylvania congressional district could be losing the representative in Washington after the latest U.S. Census resulted in the Keystone State's loss of federal funding, 1 representative in Washington and 1 electoral college vote. The latest census shows Pennsylvania's population continues to lag behind the nation, decreasing for a 10th consecutive decade. So moving forward, Pennsylvania will now have 17 seats in the House of Representatives, with our number of electoral college votes dropping from 20 to 19. The future of those Summit Township dormitories that served as a temporary home for more than 100 migrant children is still up in the air this morning. All 146 young girls who came to Erie County less than 2 weeks ago are gone. Erie News Now brought you exclusive video on Saturday as most of the girls were bused to the airport, where they were boarded on a charter plane to New York. The remainder of the girls have since been moved. Local Republican Congressman Mike Kelly toured the facility on Saturday. He says looking for answers as to why the children were selected to come to Erie for 11 days. Dorm owner Glenn Renaud tells Erie News Now he hopes to have those dorms licensed as permanent facility for the Office of Refugee Resettlement. And this week marks the start of National Work Zone Awareness Week as construction season starts to pick up. I caught up with PennDOT about the importance of slowing down while passing through work zones.
We do see people not slowing down. Do see a lot of people that like to see what's going on in the work zones, which distracts them from what's in front of them, puts themselves and other motorists at risk.
PennDOT's construction project manager Chad Tarr tells me bringing awareness to drivers about what to do in a work zone is so important.
Distracted driving and asking the public to put down their cell phones when they're going through work zones and at all times, and to just be mindful and pay attention when they enter work zones to reduce their speeds, be on the lookout for equipment and trucks and stuff entering and leaving the work zone and into the live lanes.
Tar tells me every day they see people not obeying the signs posted in a work zone, whether that's speeding or distracted driving, and says it's not only a danger for his workers, but also the other drivers on the road passing through the work zone.
We are real people out there. We do have families, and we do want to go home at the end of the day. And we understand that our job does disrupt people's daily travels, but it's not our intent. We're out there to make the roads safer, to make them better for the traveling public.
And now let's bring in our David Walter. And now we're starting to see some of that weather, that construction season will start to begin.
Yeah, temperatures warming on up nicely today. We had some of that sunshine yesterday, but we're getting more of it for today. And you can see outside as we look down towards the lake, blue skies overhead, but we will be looking at a little bit of extra cloud cover coming on in from the west as we get later on in the day. 69 degrees, how about that? That nice south wind allowing us to get up so quickly this morning. And you can see around the region, a little bit cooler for areas inland, but still 60 in Quarry, 60 in Cambridge Springs, 63 in Meadville. So maybe a patio lunch for some as we do get closer to that lunchtime hour, which for a lot of folks is around like 11 or 12 o'clock. And we do see that we've got some of those clouds, some of those thin high clouds out there kind of washing out that sunlight for today. Futurecast keeping us nice and dry for today, nice and mild overall. We got that mild wind blowing. Some of those high clouds continue to move on in. By the time we get deeper into the night, mainly clear skies. Wednesday, we're looking at that chance for a few scattered showers as we head to the afternoon, maybe even a thunderstorm as well, especially for areas farther away from the lakeshore as we get towards the end of the day. So not a full-fledged washout. Temperatures will still be on the mild side, but we start to see the rain chances really increase a bit more, especially for the day on Thursday. We'll wash out some of that pollen in the air. That's one good thing about rain this time of year, of course. We need it to really green the grass, but obviously with more rainfall, the trees are pollinating more, and obviously you get that in the air, you get that on your vehicle, kind of makes things a little bit messy. But I'll tell you when you could possibly get the car washed and how cool those temperatures may be turning as we get towards the end of the month. That's in just a few moments.
Thanks, David. The start of the NFL football season is still 5 months away, but the city of Cleveland is gearing up to host the draft this week. Fans can start to experience the fun on Thursday, and city officials want visitors to know they are open for business. Our Kara Coleman stopped by to see how they're preparing.
Hey there, Cleveland is buzzing with the NFL draft coming to town this week. And while this is a place that typically bleeds orange and brown for the Cleveland Browns, this week it's the focus of all 32 NFL teams and, of course, those up-and-coming players.
The first pick in the 2020 draft.
This year, not only is Cleveland focusing on their draft picks, but also to playing host to the 86th NFL draft.
I think it's going to be an exciting environment, definitely one that we haven't seen in 13 plus months, and we can't wait to welcome everybody.
Whether it's a day trip or a jet over to Cleveland for the weekend, officials here say there's lots to do, and not just for football fans.
There are tickets available for the NFL Draft Experience. Stop by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for their new exhibit, which is called The Greatest Show on Turf. 55 years of Super Bowl halftime shows.
And after a tough year, Cleveland bars and restaurants are getting ready for the boost in business.
Obviously, we expect big crowds. I mean, it's a lot of people. I know it's still not as many people as it would be with the restrictions and everything, but it's still a large group of people coming downtown. It's just another big thing that Cleveland gets to do, which is pretty cool.
And while there are some COVID restrictions in place, Cleveland officials say they're ready for a much-needed taste of normalcy.
Cleveland can show the world that we can host a responsible and safe event, and hopefully it's just the beginning of the return of live events.
And the NFL draft is typically a really exciting time for Browns fans. They perhaps in a typical year are looking forward to a more successful season. But remember, 2020 was a great year for the Browns. They made it to the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. So some extra excitement perhaps for Browns fans and really football fans everywhere. In Cleveland, Kara Coleman, Erie News Now.
And if you're planning a trip to Cleveland for the draft, officials say you should visit thisiscleveland.com for more information and tickets and COVID restrictions. But now we want to bring in our David Walter to see this beautiful weather that we're going to be seeing this week. Correct, David?
Yeah, things not looking too bad, at least for the next 2 days. At least if we're trying to stay dry. By Thursday, that's when we have a better chance for rain. But, you know, we got to mix in some of those spring showers this time of year. 76 for today, and we could do just as good on Wednesday. Now, there's some indications that Thursday could still be fairly mild overall. We'll go with middle 60s. We will be dealing with those scattered rain showers. Cold front comes on through. Much cooler by Friday. we'll notice some of those passing showers, a little bit on the breezy side. We get into the month of May. Hey, that starts on Saturday. Temperatures initially in the 50s, but we start to warm closer to that 70-degree mark by Monday. Right now, the weekend looking a fairly quiet. There is a chance that there could be some showers nearby, but for right now, we'll keep those rain chances low, so make sure to stay with your First Warning Weather team for further updates. Molly?
David, definitely better weather than last week. But thank you guys for joining us for the Erie News Nowcast. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time. Our next news is coming up at noon on WSEE and 12:30 on WICU. Make it a great day.